explores the areas of sexual repression, female objectification, censorship and the contradictions of censorship, and contemporary pornography. Hi, my name's Ruth Power and I graduated from NCAD with a degree in ceramics in 2011. And what my degree show mainly consisted of was a lot of tentacles. So how I came to this was I was doing some research from a past project involving gnarly tree branches and stuff. So to do some visual research for that, I typed tentacle into Google search images and the safe search was off. And about 90% of the images that came up were of Japanese tentacle rape pornography. So I was really shocked by this and decided to research this further. And what I found was that in the 1980s, a Japanese animator called Maeda wanted to make an erotic anime, but at the time it was illegal to show an erect penis. So animators were always trying to find a way to get around this law. So what Maeda did was he looked back to 19th century woodblock prints from the Edo period in Japan. And I think the most famous example of this would be The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife by Hokusai, which depicts a Japanese woman and an octopus engaging in oral sex. But it's mutually beneficial and it's actually quite beautiful. So he took inspiration from this. So instead of depicting a penis, he depicted brutal tentacles raping girls. And this was perfectly legal. So the contradiction of censorship fascinated me. The restrictions on the latter substantially caused the former, which resulted in this explosive, massive genre of tentacle rape pornography. So for these pieces, I took casts of my own body parts because this is a very, very personal issue to me. And I rolled out really, really thin slabs of porcelain paper clay, and pressed it into the moulds. And then I hand built the tentacles over it. So each sucker was placed on individually and each frill. And then I placed some tentacles behind it as well to create the silhouettes. And I placed them into light boxes and made an installation. Well, a lot of my inspiration comes from social issues, like feminist issues or animal rights issues or human rights issues in general. So it's usually an issue, I might read about it or I might come across it and then I have an idea then and that gives me the idea to do it. And these tentacles, for an example, they're part of an installation that I did in 2010 and it was just a wall full of tentacles, writhing tentacles. So when you walk past it, it's really intrusive, especially because I put them at a certain level to make it more intrusive. So that was based on the Japanese tentacle pornography as well. And they were really popular. So I just kept making them. So I'm doing an installation as well for the Botanic Gardens in September, which is the Sculpture in Context exhibition. And it's one of my favourite exhibitions of the whole year. It's amazing. And there's loads of outdoor sculpture and indoor sculpture as well. So I'll be exhibiting 2 pieces there. And one of the installations I'll be doing is just behind me here. So it's kind of based on the tentacle idea as well. It's loads of tendrils. So I think I might make about 30 or 40 of those. So loads and loads of tendrils in context outside, so amongst the shrubbery. So that should be interesting. And I'm focusing as well on some commercial work as well. So these tentacles, I'd sell them individually as well. So you can have part of the installation. So some other work I'm in the middle of creating at the moment is some more kind of sea-themed work. It's casts of sandy Main Strand. So I went to the beach and I took a plaster cast of the ripples when the tide goes out, and it was based on a quote by James Joyce. And what I wanted to do with these pieces was basically, instead of creating just another pictorial narrative of the sea. I wanted to create an actual tactile experience. So I wanted to capture the tactile feeling of walking down the beach barefoot, which you can get with the ripples. And then I placed recycled glass and glaze in between, and it melts in the kiln in the exact same way as water does as it moves through the ripples. So these are wall pieces. They can be used as platters as well. Yeah, so ceramics to me it's like a science, it's like alchemy. So it's really interesting. The possibilities are endless, and there's always ways to figure out new methods to doing things that haven't been done before. But at the same time, it can absolutely break your heart. So you could think that you have an amazing glaze recipe or you've discovered something new, and then you put it in the kiln, and then you come back 2 days later and you're really excited and you open it up and there's just like a big brown blob in the kiln. So it can really surprise you, or it can absolutely break your heart. And I think, interestingly, as a person, it makes you a lot more patient and a lot more able to take disappointment as well. So in 2010, I started exhibiting around Ireland, and in 2011, that's when I started to enter awards and competitions and stuff. And in April 2011, I won a Future Makers Award from the Crafts Council of Ireland. So that kind of kick-started everything a little bit for me. And also in 2011, I put in an installation. It was a few of these guys coming out of the pond at the Botanic Gardens in Glasnevin, and I was really surprised. I didn't expect it, but they won an award as well for a voucher from Cast Limited to do a bronze sculpture. So I haven't actually used that yet, but I have an idea for it. So it's a substantial amount to make a big bronze sculpture, which I'd never have the opportunity to do because it's such an expensive thing. So I'm looking forward to using that. And this year I was nominated for the Irish Ceramic Awards. So I'm currently exhibiting in Cork in the Mill Cove Gallery at the moment for that show. And at the beginning of last year I started exhibiting in New York. So that was amazing, and there was a different reception to my work there, which I really, really liked, because I think, especially for ceramics in Ireland, it's still quite old-fashioned. It's still quite behind. It hasn't really shed away from that old-fashioned image. So my work was received a lot better in New York, I think. So I plan to exhibit there a lot more in the future. And next year there'll be an exhibition called What's Up? Ceramics and Light, so it's a good name, in Taiwan and Paris and New York as well. So that will be an exhibition mainly featuring ceramic artists that use light. So some of my degree show work will be featured in that, with the translucent porcelain. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll get to go.